Your pastors are really proud of y'all because I've never seen this many folks in the South stay still this long. Can we stand and take a stress break? Can we do that? Let's stand. Can you stand and take a stress break if you need it? Yeah. All right, we got you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, if we can come back in 3, in 2, in 1. Good afternoon. I want to thank the NAACP, the president, and the task committee for giving us this opportunity and great privilege. My parents, Walter Washington and Zayla Washington, were life members at the Haywood County branch in Brownsville, Tennessee. Absolutely. My father was pastor of Upper Salem for almost 30 years. Absolutely. I got my first NAACP card in 4th grade. I would rather almost like have a conversation because as I was standing there and I was hearing so much, my career began in public education February 1997. So next month I'll celebrate 20 years. 16 of those 20 years were in Memphis. 4 was as a superintendent in a small rural school district. I've been on both sides of the aisle. Dr. Johnson gave me the first opportunity to serve as a principal in 2005. I was the principal of Georgia Avenue Elementary School the year we merged with Locke Elementary School. Also the same year, Memphis City did away with the corporal punishment policy. I was 27 years old with the task of merging two schools, one traditionally high-performing, Locke, on the other hand, was low-performing. And even though these schools were less than a block away, there was real competition because you had Foot Homes on one side and Claiborne Homes on the other side, and there was a tradition of real competition directly across the street. At that time, I was anti-charter because I remember very specifically we were in a principal's meeting and there was some data being thrown out, and it was as if the charter schools were doing so much better. And I knew some of those charter schools had come into our community, my school's community, 13th poorest zip code in the nation, one of the most violent communities in the country, 38128, and they were cherry picking. I stood in the principal's meeting, and after the presentation was given, I was thinking about my teachers who were staying behind late every day, serving those kids of color. We were 100% black, 100% free or reduced lunch. And I thought about those teachers who had invested their entire lives in that community to give kids an opportunity and change the trajectory of their families' lives. And then I hear someone stand up and give all of these numbers about this charter school who were coming into my school's community, choosing the best and brightest kids and educating them, and we were being compared. And so I stood up and I said, bring those folks to 38128. And let's see if they can get the same results. And I said, bring those folks. Allow me to send some of the kids that they don't want. And let's see if they get the same results. And so this lady, there were some principals. I guess folks were afraid I was probably going to lose my job because the amens were like very subtle and hand claps were beneath the table. And there was this lady who's a retired principal now, Janice Cross, I believe her name was. She stood and she took my words that were divisive. She wrapped them in caramel and she dipped them in chocolate and had everybody saying, yeah. I want to start by saying no one, public, private, charter or not, has the right to fail kids. No one. I opened Promise Academy Spring Hill under the ASD. We have 2 schools, one under the ASD, the other under Shelby County Schools. Our flagship school, which opened in 2005 in the former Hollywood Elementary building that was closed and shuttered, and taxpayer dollars didn't contribute to most of those repairs. It was private dollars from local Memphians who believe that we can do something better with our kids. And so the school opened, repairs were made, progress was made. Has it been perfect? By no means. I was on my way, I thought, with my wife and two daughters to Dallas, Texas, when I got a call from two friends, colleagues, who asked if I would be interested in entering the charter world. I'll be quite frank with you. No, we don't resist change. We resist loss. This thing is about power and money. Let me be straightforward. If I just speak as if I'm plain spoken, I want to just have a kitchen table conversation. Ain't no charter schools finna open in Germantown tomorrow or anytime soon. And it's not because there are kids there that are not low performing. It's just not going to happen. And for those of us who are looking for charter schools to go into the rural community, I was born and raised in a rural community. The political vacuums in those communities, the walls are it's almost impossible to penetrate those walls. And let me tell you there's a question came about, can charter schools go into those communities? I want to caution you, because if you know rural communities, there are academies in most rural communities that are segregated. And when those policies and those laws are created, the only thing that's going to happen is those kids who are going to those academies will have their funds paid for by local taxpayers. So if we ask and want these things, we really got to make sure, and I think that's what Turner was speaking to. Yeah, Tennessee has the best model. However, there still needs to be some tweaks. And I'll say this. If charter schools created segregation, I owe a whole lot of people an apology. Let me show you a picture. See that gentleman? That's my great-great-grandfather. He was born in 1860. What's significant about that? He learned to read. He learned to read. He learned to read. Someone taught him in slavery, under the most dire circumstances, how to read without a computer, without all of these programs. He learned to read. He learned to read and to do math so well that the master trusted him to be the accountant on how much cotton they, harvested and that kind of thing in slavery. And I look at him and I want to know why. Oh, no, okay. Already? Okay, so, I want to go look at the picture. Look, man, I'm just getting on a roll. All right, my grandfather, the dude right there that's looking like, what's up? Learn to read. That's a segregated school. That's my mom. That's my great-great-grand, that's his granddaughter. She was an educator. Under dire circumstances, they learned to read. The trajectory was changed because the same things that we need today, teachers who care, teachers who are competent, teachers who are instructionally sound, leaders who don't let stuff slide, that can happen in a public, private, rural school. And to say, I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't know. I know that, accountability, everybody say accountability, more accountability. But with accountability becomes more responsibility. I didn't run the Promise Academy because I didn't want to have to go to a board to get approval. There are benefits to being able to get things done without having to put something on the agenda when you need a new book. And have to get 3 votes because remember, I've been a superintendent, because there's a meeting before the meeting, and they're going to say, we ain't letting them get the book if they can't hire my cousin. See, I don't lose anything tonight. Listen, let me show you one last picture, and then I'm done. We opened with pre-K through first grade kids in 2014. We were co-locating with a Shelby County school. So we had 2 schools in the same building. My thinking was, since we're in the same building, perhaps we can leverage some of this intellectual capital, since we have 2 leaders, and figure out how we can do things better, because at the time, that school had 3% of their kids reading proficient. And many of the parents, when they heard we were coming, didn't know that 3% of the kids in their school were only 3% were reading proficient, so they were not informed. And when you're not informed, our first inclination is to criticize. However, second thing, I told my young staff, we're not going to Raleigh with all the answers. We don't have all the answers. I was hearing words like disenfranchised, disempowered people. If you go to there's intellectual capital in every community in this city. And so, relationships, we've not expelled any kids because people need to know that you're not here with all the answers and to fix all of my problems, but there's something you can do and provide to help us fix this problem. I'll also be honest with this. Most of my work at this point in my career is in the car line with parents who pull up high with their kids in the front seat. And when I had to tell them, look, you got to pull up. So it's going to take all of us. When we begin to have a conversation about who's the best at being the worst, nobody's flying to Memphis to see. I mean, like, we got a lot of different things going on, but until we are leading for real.
Give Dr. Washington a round of applause.
I don't want to stop now. I'm just getting started.
Got to stop.
Because
Got to stop. Got to stop.
if we're not getting results, people need to be held accountable. I don't care who it is, period.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Okay. All right. Our next presenter